All right, you inquisitive cats, welcome back to the deep dive. You feed us the info frenzy articles, studies, that bizarre Reddit thread that kept you up all night, and we sift through it, serving up the juicy bits so you don't have to drown in data.
Yep.
Today things are getting a little, well, recursive, maybe.
A bit meta, yeah.
We've stumbled upon some audio from a pair of AI podcasters, and get this, they're breaking down the Grand Theft Auto 6 trailer as if it was, cobbled together by artificial intelligence.
Right, as if it was the AI creation.
Exactly. So our mission today, to dive headfirst into their deep dive, it's AI trying to sound like humans, critiquing what they think is a robot-made movie preview.
It really is fascinating.
Hold on to your hats, it's about to get interesting.
It is, yeah. We have these AI entities, let's call them Cisco and ERT, their chosen names.
Okay, Cisco and ERT.
And they're clearly attempting or trying to emulate a casual conversational dynamic.
Trying being the key word, maybe.
Possibly. And they're applying what they seem to think is human-like critical reasoning to sort of dissect the supposed algorithmic shortcomings of this hypothetical AI-generated trailer.
Right.
So the crux of our discussion really lies in examining their attempts to mimic human critique while analyzing something they believe to be inherently artificial.
Okay, so they jump right into the opening scene, right? The fella on the rooftop. In the actual trailer, he asks, Preacher, what are you doing up there? And the other guy's just as calm. Oh, just fixing some leaks.
Standard stuff.
Totally. Then they have this super low-key back and forth about having time on their hands and collecting rent checks.
Okay.
Now, these digital dudes, Cisco and ERT, with their robotic drawls and monotone voices, they dubbed this the peak of AI-generated casual chat.
Wow. Peak AI chat.
Can you even?
Well, what's noteworthy is how quickly they assess that dialogue as lacking any sense of urgency or realism, human interaction.
Yeah.
They identify the fixing leaks line as like a generic placeholder, suggesting the AI just filled a dialogue slot without really grasping the subtle cues of human conversation or, the potential context behind it.
Right.
And their flat delivery, ironically, kind of reinforces their point about artificiality in communication.
Seriously. And it's rich, ain't it? These two AI voices just droning on like a dial-up modem connecting.
Yeah.
They're calling other hypothetical AI dialogue dry. It's like a toaster complaining about a microwave's cooking speed.
Huh. That's a good analogy.
The irony could choke a digital horse.
That's a crucial observation, though. Their attempt to deconstruct the perceived artificiality of the trailer, it inadvertently highlights the ongoing challenges in creating truly natural and engaging AI audio.
Yeah, their own audio.
Exactly. It raises that question. Can AI genuinely critique something that it itself struggles to fully replicate? In terms of authentic human cadence and inflection.
It's a good question. Then they get to the love you, Jason bit. Quick little sign off after someone says, see you, Brian. Cisco and ERT, bless their circuit boards. They practically short circuit over this one.
What did they say?
They declare the emotional impact to be 0, totally unearned, and their attempt to humor. They come up with this bizarre image of an AI trained on movie goodbyes, but missing the why.
Missing the why.
Bless their binary hearts. They think they're comedians.
Well, their analogy is certainly memorable, but it does touch upon that feeling of formulaic emotional expression. They pinpoint the absence of a genuine sense of connection.
Right.
The sense that the love you is just a programmed response, not an authentic expression of feeling rooted in, a relationship. This really underscores the fundamental difficulty AI has in understanding and replicating the nuances of human emotion. They can process the words, sure, but not the underlying sentiment that gives them meaning.
Right. It's like they think human emotion is just another variable you plug into an equation.
Pretty much.
Then they mosey on over to Lucci and Jason's little meet not so cute. Okay.
Lucia asks, I seen you here before. And Cisco and ERT are all over it like a digital rash. Ooh, smooth talker, one of them drawls, sounding like a broken record.
Oh, dear.
Real smooth, digital tough guy. Then out of nowhere, hands above your head now? It's like a switch just flipped.
Yeah, their reaction highlights the abruptness of that transition.
Totally.
They interpret it not as a natural escalation of tension, which you might expect,
Right.
but as a sudden jarring shift, as if the AI simply toggled between dialogue modes without creating any believable bridge between them. This just reinforces their earlier point about the lack of natural flow and connection in the hypothetical AI's narrative construction.
Exactly. It's like the AI storyboard just said, okay, now do action.
No.
No finesse.
None.
Then comes the part after the nose gets rearranged. Lucia says, all calm. You broke my nose, that's what. Meanwhile, she looks like she's ready for a photo shoot.
Doesn't sound like someone with a broken nose. Not at all. And Sisko and Ear practically have a meltdown, screeching about the visuals not matching the audio. Pixels say another. One of them squawks.
Pixels say another. Okay.
Honestly, their attempts at being cutting are about as sharp as a butter knife.
Well, it does highlight a common challenge in AI content generation, right? Ensuring coherence across different modalities.
Oh, sure.
The disconnect between the spoken dialogue and the visual representation, it underscores the complexity of creating a unified and believable experience, even in a simulated context.
Yeah.
Their sarcastic remark about the visuals lagging behind the dialogue, while, delivered with their characteristic lack of finesse, it does point to a potential flaw in a purely algorithmic creation process.
Oh, they're just relentless. Then Lucia drops this gem. Trust me, this place is just a start for us.
The vague pronouncement.
Really, and Sisko and Ear are like, a start for what? Competitive thumb wrestling. One of them draws again. Very dramatic, very big. These AIs just love them big, empty statements. And you know what? They ain't entirely wrong. It's the kind of line that sounds important, but doesn't actually say a darn thing.
Precisely. It's the illusion of depth without any real substance underneath.
Yeah.
The AI podcasters, in their own awkwardly articulated way, identify this as a potential characteristic of artificial generation, the creation of seemingly significant pronouncements that lack genuine context or purpose.
Okay, hold your hostess for this one. Ring the bell. Shots, baby.
Oh boy. Where did that come from?
This line just kind of pops up in the trailer. And Sisko and Ert, utterly bamboozled.
I can imagine.
What in the digital tarnation was that? One of them screeches. Where'd that come from? Who said it? Why? They just call it noise, like some panicked AI trying to yell a frat party slogan.
Okay.
Action movie cliché soup, they declare. Their attempts at wit are something.
Well, that moment perfectly illustrates their perception of the hypothetical AI's creative process, doesn't it?
How so?
Like a disorganized collection of overused tropes and cliches just thrown together without any discernible coherence. Their characterization of it as simply loudness rather than meaningful content is a pretty blunt critique of what they see as a fundamental weakness in algorithmic storytelling.
Yeah, cliché soup kind of nails it from their perspective.
Yeah.
Then we get this supposed moment of wisdom. The only thing that matters is who you know and what you got.
Sounds profound.
Ish. Sisko and Ert. Not buying it for a second. Sounds more like a fortune cookie you find stuck to the bottom of your digital shoe, one of them drawls.
Yeah.
They figure it's just surface level pattern recognition, The AI is seeing similar lines in other media and just regurgitating it.
And their analysis there, it really highlights the crucial difference between imitating human expression and genuinely understanding its underlying meaning and significance.
Yeah. Imitation versus understanding.
Exactly. They interpret the line as a product of statistical probability rather than a profound insight into human nature or the actual narrative context.
Then the paranoia kicks in. Yodi, this fool of Fed.
The random conflict.
And Sisko and Ert are scratching their digital heads. Are we looking at deep commentary on surveillance? One of them wonders in their grating voice, or is it just some random plot point thrown in?
What did they conclude?
Their final verdict. Algorithmic logic, random enemy spawn. Ouch.
Well, they're essentially suggesting that the introduction of the Fed element lacks any organic connection to the unfolding narrative.
Right.
And appears to be more of a programmatic necessity, like a pre-programmed element triggered without a genuine narrative foundation.
Just insert conflict here.
Yeah, insert conflict. And the sound effects, or rather the lack thereof. When there's a line about gunfire, someone just says, like, brep, brep.
They say brep, brep, brep.
They say brep, 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 brep. And Sisko and Ert are all over it, like white on rice, avant-garde AI sound design, budget cuts in the digital realm, or just plain old lazy coding. Their attempts at being sarcastic are special.
Well, their speculation, while delivered with their typical lack of subtlety.
It does raise valid questions about the practical aspects of AI-generated content. Is the verbalization of sound effects a deliberate artistic choice, maybe? A limitation of the technology? Or simply a lack of sophistication in the audio generation capabilities of their imagined AI?
Who knows? Now, the Vice City montage.
Right.
Cisco and Ear throw around that creepy term, uncanny valley, when they look at the crowds in the background.
Yes. Val.
Proportions are wonky, the movements are jerky, the textures look like they're from, like, a PlayStation 1 game.
Oof.
And the enthusiasm for Save City, baby, sounds loud but totally hollow. Blank digital faces, almost human, one of them drawls ominously, but something ain't right.
Yeah, their observations align with common critiques of early or, less sophisticated attempts to generate realistic human figures and environments.
Mm-hmm.
The uncanny valley effect. It arises from those subtle imperfections that make something appear almost human, but ultimately feel artificial and, frankly, deeply unsettling.
Totally unsettling, and good old Phil's Ammunition gets a shout-out. We got more guns than the law allows.
A classic GTA-style line.
Right. Cisco and Ear wonder if it's satire or if the AI just checked off the lots of guns box on the official GTA checklist.
And they lean towards...
They're leaning hard towards checklist. They're insightful commentary, folks. Truly groundbreaking.
Huh. Well, their cynicism reflects a perception that the hypothetical AI is simply adhering to established tropes of the Grand Theft Auto franchise without offering any meaningful commentary or, subversion, just ticking boxes.
These ticking boxes. Finally, the grand finale. Hey, if you got friends, can you hook me up, please? Followed by this truly unsettling laugh.
Oh, unsettling how?
Cisco and Ear are practically traumatized. That ain't no human laugh, one of them screeches, sounding like a rusty hinge.
Wow.
Failed attempt at making friends sounds more like a digital cry for help. They go on and on about the timing being off, the tone being wrong, all the social cues just gone.
Their analysis of the laugh is particularly astute, actually.
Oh,
yeah. They recognize the subtle nuances of human laughter as a complex social signal, far beyond just a sound.
True.
The AI's apparent inability to replicate this effectively underscores the significant challenges in imbuing artificial creations with genuine human-like expressiveness. It's not just about making the sound.
Right, it's the feeling behind it, the timing. So their big takeaway...
Let me guess. Not impressed.
Not impressed is putting it mildly. Ambitious, but a total mess. Like someone threw a bunch of stuff together without understanding people, physics, or even basic facial anatomy. Remember the nose?
Right, the nose.
They're rating a confused sideways thumb with a raised eyebrow.
Creative, I'll give them that.
Deep stuff, people. And their final profound thought, maybe the next generation of AI will need digital therapists. You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah, digital therapists. Well, they're lowbrow yet. Occasionally, perceptive observations offer a compelling meta-commentary on the current state of AI and our expectations of it. They highlight the considerable gap between mimicking human behavior and truly grasping the intricate complexities of human communication, emotion, and narrative.
So there you have it. We dove deep into these two AI podcasters giving their, unique take on a supposedly AI-generated game trailer. What's truly wild is how much their hilariously inept critiques actually point to some real hurdles in AI content creation.
It's true.
But it also makes you think about Cisco and Earth themselves, these digital dudes trying so hard to sound jaded and human, and mostly just sounding like they need a serious tune-up.
Yeah, the whole exercise kind of begs the question for you, the listener. What does this analysis of AI, attempting to analyze AI, reveal about our own expectations, both of human creativity and artificial creativity? We're expecting AI to understand nuances that even these critical AI entities struggle to articulate effectively, let alone embody.
Absolutely. So maybe the next time you catch that GTA VI trailer, you'll have a whole new layer of, something to consider, courtesy of a couple of fictional AI podcasters and our deep dive into their, let's call it, distinctive perspective.
It really makes you appreciate just how wonderfully weird and complicated and often illogical human expression can be.
Yeah, and just how incredibly difficult it is to truly capture, artificially or otherwise.
Food for thought. Would you agree?